Hey, this is Rob again from ChainsawGuitarTuition.net. This video is going to be another sort of music theory for guitar video and for guitarists. We're going to be looking at what the modes are. Alright, there's a lot of confusion now out there about what the modes are and how to use them, and I think partly that's like how they were taught normally, which doesn't really explain much about them. And it is an easy concept once you've got it. So if we take the major scale along one string, why not? If you look at my major scale video, if you're not familiar with the major scale, because you really need that scale to understand this, none of this is going to make any sense unless you go and watch my major scale video. So the major scale, the tones, set of tones and semitones, or whole steps and half steps. The whole step being 2 frets, half steps 1 fret. So we're going to go tone, 2 frets, tone, upper semitone, upper tone, upper tone, upper tone, upper semitone. That gives us the major scale in intervals. That's how it's worked out, distances between the notes. Right, so this is this pattern. And the way that it's conventionally taught, you're starting from the, obviously the A. This is the A major scale, or in modal terms, it's the Ionian mode. And the second mode, built off the second note. So we're going to go B, and this is going to be B Dorian. And kind of you can hear a sort of difference. But this is exactly the notes from A major again. Then we're going to go from C sharp, the third note of A major, and it's going to be C sharp Phrygian. Again, it's still the notes from A major, but I'm just starting on the third note. Then we have Lydian, starting from the 4th note. And then starting from the 5th note, Mixolydian. Then starting from the 6th note, Aeolian. Starting from the 7th note, Locrian. And then back to the A. Now that's the way it's conventionally taught, and the main problem with that is all I've just done is I've played the major scale 7 different times, starting from ending from different notes. That does not create modes. Even though I've given them modal names, all I've done, so when I'm playing from B to B, it's the A major scale, which is going from the B note to another B note. That doesn't create a mode, that just creates the A major scale starting and ending on a B. This is where the confusion comes from. Alright, so basically that concept is trying to explain that the A major scale is the parent scale, and all these modes are derived from that scale. Right? That's the concept it's trying to explain, and that doesn't really help you so much when you're using them to play solos or make music with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to move all of these and play them all from a root note, because what's going to happen is that pattern of tones and semitones is going to change depending on where we start in the scale. So when we're doing this from an A Ionian, we've got tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, just like our major scale, exactly the same. When we start from the second note, B, we're going to do B Dorian. We've now got tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone. And that's the key difference. So now that pattern has changed of intervals, we can now play that off the A, both off the A note, A root note, and you can hear the difference then. So the Ionian mode, or major scale, so tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. The Dorian mode, starting from A, we're going to have tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone. Okay, so so now we've changed it. So that's going, instead of going tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, we're going to do tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone. I mean up this scale. And if you really want to hear with this scale over an A, I'm going to play the open A string. Right, this is the Ionian major scale. happy and cliche almost. Now this is the A Dorian mode. Again, starting from the A, but now playing the Dorian mode, Dorian set of intervals. See how different that sounds. And this is what the modes are. This is where everyone gets confused. Let's follow that same pattern again. If we take the third mode, the Phrygian mode, we're going to play first we're going to play from C sharp, third note of A major scale, from C sharp to C sharp, but it's still going to be the A major scale. Okay, still the C major scale, sorry, still the A major scale, and because we're just playing on the A major scale. Now we're going to do that from the A note. So we're going to make A our root note, and this was our A major scale, Ionian mode, A Dorian, and now we're going to play A Phrygian. So the root note's A, and you can see that's a different sound again. This is the key to it. We're using that order of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone from the major scale, and we're going to start in the middle somewhere, and it now creates a different pattern, and that's where we're getting these scales from. So if I do that again, the Phrygian mode over an A, open A string, and all of this information is on my website. I don't want to make this video too long because it's quite a long video to watch just on theory. But essentially there are 7 of these modes as I went through. So you get A, starting from the 4th note of a major scale, Lydian. And again a different set of gaps between the notes, intervals between the notes, gives you a different scale. And if you remember from my major scale video, when I was talking about every scale is related to the major scale, you take, say, A Lydian, which is the same intervals you'd get if you started from the 4th note of the major scale, but the root note is going to be the first note you start on. And if you look at this, we've got 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it's a different scale, and this is where people, as I said, this is where people get confused. What you're doing is you're creating a different scale, not just starting a major scale on a different note. Right, the second point of confusion, how do you use these modes? Well, as I said before in the first half of the video, you have the root note, which determines the rest of the intervals, because it's all related to the root note. So I could play around with that. Again, it's difficult to play chords and scales, but I think you get the idea. But it's all over an A chord. And with a mode, you can use it over that. As soon as that chord changes, I've gone to an E7 there. What's happened is you've now moved the root note, because the rhythm guitarist or pianist or whatever you've got is going to be playing an E chord, E7 chord, and the bass player is going to be playing an E to go with that E7 chord. So you've now moved the root note, and if you play the same notes as Lydian, A Lydian, you're now not going to be playing A Lydian, because you've got the note, this note here, which is going to be the root note, the E. So it's no longer the A, so you've ruined the concept of modes. The next question that's asked is, so if you're playing over a progression, do you always have to think, I'm going to be in this mode, I'm going to be in this mode, I'm going to be in this mode with this chord? The answer is no. That's a bit ridiculous, because that would be a lot to think about for no reason. The point is, if you've got a chord progression, you're probably going to be in a major or minor key. Modes come into it if you've got one chord for either a period of time where you can sort of establish that that's a mode, or you've got kind of a riff that's all in one chord. And then this is based around A minor 7, way, the root note stays on that A for the entire thing. You can then start to play around with modes because you've got this root note fixed as an A. Right, as soon as that chord changes, then you've lost. It's not modal anymore. You've lost what it is because you've moved the root note. And all modes are all about changing the, like having a specific root note to build the scale off with. Right, so this has been a very in-depth video. Thank you if you've watched it all the way to the end. I hope it made some sense to you and cleared up a few sort of the things confusing people about modes. If you've got any questions or comments, just please down below. Or if you're on my website, you can get in contact via the contact link. I always receive emails. I'm happy to answer email questions all the time. And until then, I'll see you next time.